I work a full-time job as a software engineer at a big tech company. I also run this social media thing where I post multiple videos per week on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And I also have 2 SaaS products, 2 software as a service products that I also run on the side, where I do all the coding, all the building, as well as all the marketing for. Yeah, I do a lot of different things, but here are the 6 things that I do on a daily basis to help me be more productive and figure out how to balance my full-time job with these side hustles. And in this video, I'm gonna include some timestamps in the description down below so you can hop around, see what you like, see what you don't like. You can watch however much or little of the video that you want, but if you do like the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel because your boy would really appreciate that. Plenty of more good content to come in the future. All right, now let us get into it. All right, so the very first thing that I wanna talk about when figuring out how to juggle so many different responsibilities while also being productive is learning how to compartmentalize different aspects of your life. I have really tried hard over the past few years to realize, like, when I am working on my day job, I don't think about anything else. I don't look at my social media stuff. I don't look at my various other products that I'm building, my SaaS products that I'm building. I'm only focused on work because that is the biggest responsibility at that moment. I like to have a much more intense approach to my work where when I'm in on something, I'm all in on that thing. I close my personal laptop, I'm only on my work laptop. And then when I'm on my personal laptop, I close my work laptop and go in on my personal stuff, my social media stuff, my various SaaS products that I'm running on the side as well. And honestly, these days, I even do kind of extreme things such as tossing my phone into a different room when I am working, just so I can guarantee to a higher likelihood that I'm not gonna be distracted and that I'm gonna be all in on doing something. Like everyone talks about, oh, I'm such a great multitasker. Chances are you're probably not, or at least I'm not. I'm a horrible multitasker. I'm pretty sure I have some form of ADHD because I always get so distracted by the shiny little object in the corner. It's like I'm coding for work and then I'm like, oh, wait, I gotta respond to this one comment on my YouTube video. Let's go over there. And then it just ends up, I get distracted from my day job for like hours and hours on end. So I realized that does not work for me. Multitasking does not work for me. Just deep, focused compartmentalization such that I only have one priority at a given time. I think that has really helped me out a lot more. So I recommend if you're trying to juggle a lot of different side hustles, don't try to do all of them at once. Just do one thing and go all in super deep on that one thing. All right, so the second thing that I do to be more productive in my day-to-day is delegating ruthlessly. There's a pretty common habit amongst humans, at least myself, to feel like I'm the main character of my life. I'm the hero, that I have to do everything, all the responsibility is on my shoulder, but no, shut up, that's not the case. You don't have to do everything by yourself. And as I've made money from social media, my day job, as well as some of the SaaS products that I'm running as well, in the beginning, I tried to be so greedy with all of my money. I wanna keep all the money to myself. And by doing so, I'm gonna force myself to do all the editing. I'm gonna force myself to do all of that. I'm gonna force myself to handle all the marketing, the coding, the building, everything. But remember, the whole purpose of making money is figuring out how to spend it wisely and spending it on things that bring you joy, that make your life easier. And not only does it not bring me joy, but also by hiring other video editors, they are 100x better at editing videos than me. So it's like, duh, you should totally take advantage of that. So I would say this, for a lot of people, when they talk about a money spending problem, they often talk about how they have no control over buying excess things. But for myself, I have actually been learning how to spend money in a way so I don't feel guilty about it and I actually feel good about it. And I've realized that for me, delegating some of my responsibilities such as video editing has provided me with immense joy, and it significantly improves my quality of life. If you are working on some side hustle of your own, don't feel like you have to do everything on your own. You can hire help, you can find help on Fiverr or so many other different sites as well. This is not sponsored, by the way. Just truly, I think you gotta realize, like, once you get into this game of building a side hustle, it's not always about keeping 100% of the money for yourself. It's also about reinvesting it into your business and offloading that responsibility from you to somebody else, because it's also your responsibility to take care of your mental health and your mental state. The clearer, better mental headspace that you are in, the better you are going to be in executing on your full-time job and building and executing on your side hustle and being more productive on whatever your responsibility is at that moment. So I highly recommend that you look into delegating pretty early on in the process. I regret not delegating my responsibilities earlier on. I think it could have saved me a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety that I had earlier on in this whole side hustle, content creator, SaaS product journey process of mine. All right, so the third way that I've learned to be more productive in my day, juggling all of my different responsibilities, is having ruthless prioritization. I get it. To-do lists have a huge dopamine hit. You make that giant list of 20 things. The minute you check one off, oh my God, pure dopamine just explodes in your brain. You feel so good. But what I've realized, at least for myself, can't speak for anybody else, but oftentimes when I make a to-do list, the tasks that I put at the very top are the ones that are lowest priority. And I often end the day still feeling like, oh my God, there's still so much left to do. And why do I feel that way? It's because I put the highest priority, the most important task for that day at the very bottom, because they're hard, they're scary, they're daunting to tackle. A concrete example of this is with my most recent app that I built. It's called perfectinterview.ai, and it is an AI mock interview platform. When I initially launched the product, I just launched it with mock behavioral interviews where you talk to an AI agent and then the AI model talks back to you only for behavioral interviews. And while that was useful as a software engineer who is trying to build this for other software engineers, you can't really have a mock interview product without a technical portion to it. And even though in the back of my mind, I knew how important it was for me to build that mock coding interview solution where you get a technical coding question, you run that code, you test it against your test cases. Even though I knew that having that feature would be so important for my product, I put it off for 2 months. I didn't touch it. In my mind, I was like, oh my God, that's such a big technical lift. I don't want to do it. I can do other things. I can make the landing page pretty. I can add the behavioral interview support. I can like change the font size, change the color. Yet despite doing all these small low-hanging fruit tasks, I always felt a weird, like sick feeling in my stomach because I knew that at the end of the day, that big, scary final boss monster was coming around the corner being like, hey, there's no more low-hanging fruit. You have to do me now. You have to work on me now. And in that moment, I really wish that I had done a better job of prioritizing what is important and what isn't important in that moment. So for you, when you're balancing out your various side hustles with your day job, you have to figure out what is the most important thing that you can do right now. Because remember, when you're building your side hustle, it doesn't matter if it's an e-com store, social media, or a SaaS product. You're gonna be competing in a space where this is other people's full-time job. So how exactly are you expected to compete with full-time people when you are only working part-time on it? The only way you can is by being ruthless with your prioritization, figuring out what is the most important feature that I can work on right now to maximize my return. It's really hard to do. I'm not great at it. I haven't perfected it either. I'm still going through this process, but I have gotten a little bit better at prioritization over the past couple of years. So that is just something to keep in mind when you're making your to-do list. As you're making your to-do list, ask yourself, what is the most important 1 or 2 things that I can get done today such that I feel like I conquered a boss, I beat a certain level in a game? Like, how do I feel that sense of accomplishment? Oftentimes it's gonna be the hardest, scariest thing, but you should probably do this first rather than the low-hanging fruit. All right, so the fourth and in my opinion, maybe the most important thing that I have done is finding community. Doing things solo is really hard. Like, we are social creatures, bro. We are human beings. We look for community. We look for other people to talk to go through life with. And that is the same thing with building a side hustle, whether that be social media or your own SaaS product. Find other people in the same space. Get on regular calls. I love scheduling weekly calls or bi-weekly or monthly calls with certain groups of people that are in the same space, that are trying to grow social media, that are trying to build their own software product. And it has made my life so much better. It's actually crazy how much better my life has gotten once I found this regular group of people to talk to about these side hustles that I am a part of. The fifth thing that I do to be more productive when balancing my full-time job as well as my various side hustles is going on shameless dopamine binges. I get it, right now it's really trending to be like, I'm going into monk mode. I'm gonna get rid of all the dopamine in my life. No more social media, no more this, none of that, all in on work. No, dude, you're gonna get so burnt out. It actually causes you to crave that thing even more. So instead of going on like a 30-minute binge session, you end up going on like a 6-hour binge session because in the back of your mind, you're like, oh my God, I'm never gonna be able to get this opportunity again. Like, I have to milk this for everything that I can. That is so bad for you. You have to bake in relaxation into your day. So that is why I end my day every single night with a shameless dopamine binge. I like to call these things brain melting sessions. Literally for the last hour or so of my day, I don't care. I will scroll through TikTok, through Instagram, through YouTube, through Netflix, shamelessly. I embrace it. I go full vegetable mode on them. That relaxation is so important. If you never relax and you never take that time to unwind, you are gonna get burnt out. Period. You're gonna reach that point and you're gonna wanna give up on everything. I've had multiple burnout episodes and existential crises because I went way too hard and did not take any breaks. So really, we gotta bake in relaxation, go with those shameless dopamine binges in your day-to-day. It's important. By going on these dopamine binges and by being unproductive in a scheduled slot, you're gonna be more productive when you get back to work the following day.